Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be reviewing The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. So this is a book that I hadn't really heard of until fairly recently, but it had been on a couple of YouTubers' top lists that I was really interested in. And then I saw it on someone's worst list. And then I was super intrigued. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of led into the hype a little bit. But anyway, I actually listened to this one on audiobook, mostly just because it kind of worked out that way. But basically, the story, and this is not a spoiler-free review. Full disclosure, spoilers the whole way through. I think this was a very okay, well, anyway, let me tell you about it first. Okay, so this follows a gentleman who wakes up, and I don't really want to say too much about it because I feel like, at least if you haven't read it, part of one of the things I found really interesting about it was how the narrator gives information. And the narrator is this guy who basically wakes up in this body, and he doesn't really realize what's happening until a little bit of the way in, where all of a sudden he wakes up having the same day but in a different person's body. And so the story kind of continues that way, and there are things that he might remember, and as he goes on, he basically realizes fairly early on, you start to kind of catch on, you pretty much understand exactly the same thing he does. So I mean, I found that okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm totally figuring out how I feel about the book. I read it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I think I gave it a rating on Goodreads, but I think I might actually change it. I think I might make it a better rating than I actually gave it. I think I might give it a 4-star if I didn't already, because it kind of stuck with me. The way that the narrator gives the information, you're confused for a good part of the way because the narrator is confused a good part of the way. He's waking up in these different bodies and he doesn't really understand what's happening or who he is, and quickly realizes that a woman is dying and he needs to find out why she is dying. So then at that point, there is a internal narrator that is narrating the scenario. And I say scenario because you realize it's like this sort of death scenario. That sounds really morose. That's also really inarticulate. It's more of, okay, so I took it as kind of feeling like it was a little bit Westworldy. So you're in this sort of simulation, so to speak. And the guy has 7 days in 7 different bodies to find out who killed this person. And as you go on, you find out things later. So to me, it kind of felt like Sherlock Holmes, like Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes sort of meets Westworld. What I did like about it, I mean, there was actually a lot. At first, I really wasn't sure how it's at, but I think there was actually a lot of things I really enjoyed about it. I tend to like books where you're not so much confused, but I'm okay with not knowing everything all at once. I think it's a really interesting stylistic choice to kind of keep the reader confused as well. And this one felt like it was this one felt purposeful when it did so, and I think it really paid off at the end. I will also say, holy shit, wow. It definitely took some twists and turns that I really wasn't actually anticipating. And usually I'm not a huge fan of mysteries, thrillers, because I feel like I tend to usually guess the premise. I don't know, maybe I just haven't read very good ones, but this was great. I didn't see any of it coming. It was awesome. I really like to enjoy the ride like that. And I think this one was really that. It also kind of, I don't want to necessarily say slump, but I was reading something else that I was really excited about, and it just wasn't really doing it for me. So I kind of switched over to this one, and I think it's a substantially 500-page book, I feel like. I felt like it read very quickly. Okay, so here are some constructive thoughts on it. I think it was written in a very easy to read language, but it was not at all easy to read. I think you will really struggle with this book if you're a reader that sits and does, really short bursts at a time. I think this book would be really hard to follow like that. So one of the nice things about reading an audiobook is I would read it when I was I don't even remember what I was doing, if I was like prepping or cleaning or something like that. I don't know. Who knows what I was doing, honestly. But I was able to listen to sort of longer stretches at a time, and it really helped me not be so confused in the beginning. And I think that made it easier to get through the story. So I could see where you wouldn't really enjoy it if you're kind of like picking it up for just, you know, short bursts at a time. I don't know that this story lends itself well to that. I don't think so at all, because the story is intricate. It's intricate, and you have to pay a lot of attention to the little things that you're kind of picking up. But I found it really rewarding to do so. I think it was a really enjoyable, fun ride. Let me know what your thoughts are on the book. I think I'm actually changing my rating from 3-star to a 4. I think it definitely gave me a lot to think about, and at the end of it, I think I really ended up enjoying it quite a bit. So I think I am making it a 4-star book. I think it was a really good way to kind of, it was a really good way to kind of kick off a maybe sort of little slump. And yeah, anyway, so let me know what you think of my review down in the comment section, and be sure to like and subscribe. See you guys next time.